Do you usually record this way, like you play and record it live, like everyone's playing at the same time, and then done over like certain horns so that Irish was late?
Yeah, over the last few years of me recording, we've been getting progressively more and more live as we go through it. Like when we first started out, we were trying to do it. In fact, when we first started out, we were probably doing it all live, but just that was probably terrible. And then we went back to like textbook ways of recording drums and then bass and crap like that. But yeah, we favour doing it as live as possible to get the real vibe on the go, and definitely doing it with vocalists in there is an absolute must. Like we look at Hannah through the window, and like you can vibe off Hannah all the time. I don't know if I could play the guitar without watching Jimmy either. Because like I tend to watch how he plays the drums and that instead of listening to it.
Have you made records like this before?
We haven't made a record on tape before, or with valve compressors either, to be honest. So it was pretty much the maiden voyage. Ben used to use tape in the studio all the time, but he had to sell his tape machine because tapes were a lot more expensive. So he had to sell that and use a computer instead. So he's pretty happy that we got some gear in there. We're using them to get the crunch out of the tape. As you know, the sound out of the tape, which is different to recording onto like a hard disk on a computer or whatever. And we're really just aiming to get the sound, but we're not particularly interested in bragging that we've got old gear on the go. Although my amp's pretty old, but yeah. But I think up to date gear is pretty good, but they don't really make tape machines anymore, so we've got the newest stuff that we can, because that's going to sound best.
How do you and Hannah share the songwriting?
I walk down the street and the whole thing just pops into my head. It's just like all there at once. So like it's kind of hard to have Hannah in at that point. And then I'll start working some lyrics and then talk to her about what she thinks about what we're writing. And then we take the lyrical and melody sort of from there really. And then like Hannah can always pick out what I've got in the back of my head and put it out, and like it's crazy, man. Like I haven't met a singer who can do that. It's in such an amazing way, really. Hannah's good for it.
I would say it's probably 70-30 towards Nick, because he's kind of the MD really, and he makes it all happen, and he organises all the studio stuff and gets our asses out of bed and what have you.
Sometimes feels like I'm going crazy. I find myself with no shoes on, moving my hips like I heard a funky James Brown song. Ow, ow.
What song are you most proud of having recorded like in the last couple of days?
I'm kind of glad that we got whatever makes you feel hot down. I'm quite glad we got that down. It's been, that song's pretty old now, like, and Washed Up, I wrote that like 2-3 years ago, before I'd met Hannah, and yeah, I'm quite glad that we finally got that down, but I don't think it's the last time we're going to record that. I feel like there's another direction I want to take it in now, and like, yeah, maybe it's got more life in it yet.
Rolling.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Washed Up has a much more somber mood or somber theme to it than the rest of the songs. How did it come about?
Washed Up's is written about. I wrote it as a male, which isn't like most of my songs I write as a female from the top. But that because I wrote it before I'd even met Hannah. It was almost kind of like a folk song that was in 6/8, like years ago, man. And I was listening to Portishead Glory Box, and you can hear it out of that, how that ended up being part of the song. And I wrote it, and it's about an ex-girlfriend that I'd split up with, and I realised what I'd done like a few months later, and went to see if I could rescue it, and waited on the doorstep for like ages while she was at work, and she came back, and I was like, I've made a mistake, like this is terrible, and she was like, I'm with someone else, and like that song kind of came out of that, you know. It's all driving in the car, and like all this is going on, and it's yeah. I know there's quite a lot of songs about her. I've been waiting, it's about the same person. Yeah, and an old one could Work It Out. But yeah, it's bad songs.
But the tape machine ideally would be here.
Yeah.
You seem to have a pretty good relationship with Ben, the owner.
Yeah, it's my favourite place that I've recorded so far. Ben just knows what's going on all the time. Ben's just in control.
He's really given us the edge that we needed, and really supported us, you know, through thick and thin, really, when things have gone wrong and when we've not really had anyone else to turn to for advice. He's been there, and he's been a real rock for the whole band. I think whether he knows it or not, he'll probably just take it in stride. But no, he's a fantastic guy, and we also value his opinion on, you know, musically how things sound, you know, if there's things that we should take out and in, you know, at this crucial stage when you're about to get something cut to a record, you don't want anything missing or anything too much in there. And he's, you know, I really trust his judgment, and his knowledge of so many genres of music is phenomenal. And you know, you couldn't really ask for anybody more experience and more passion actually for what we do. I mean, I know he researched probably for weeks before we came in to do our last record, just about how you record specifically funk and soul, you know, to make sure he got it right, and that to me is just going above and beyond. So yeah.
If we didn't have Ben on board, like, who knows what we'd be doing, like. Yeah, I mean, like, I write the music and direct it, so it is out of my head. I listen to loads and loads of funk music, and try not to listen to other styles, because I just find it gets totally into my subconscious straight away, and I end up writing whatever I've been listening to that week. So we really try and focus the creativity in a certain way. You can hear it in Superfunk actually, like the crazy jazz bit. Like I happened to just have like a massive Miles Davis week when I was writing it, and I was just like, oh yeah, we could do this like crazy jazz bit, like, and then we started doing jazz. But yeah, that's when it works.
James Brown obviously is a massive inspiration, specifically to me as well, for, you know, the nature of the way in which I sing. He's a huge influence. Aretha, Tina Turner, Diana Ross, Ella Fitzgerald. You know, I listen to a lot of jazz, and there's so many different artists, not necessarily all female, but that have just kind of done something really different, and the quality of their voice is so special. And you don't ever want to copy someone. I don't ever want to emulate anyone else. But I think if you can be influenced by what other people do and then build that into your own performance and your own embodiment of what you do, then go for it. You know, just keep listening and keep your ears open.
You know how I feel. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life for me. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life for me. Ooh, and I'm feeling good. Yeah.
Nick, did you put my
The stated goal of the band
Winchester?
is to play on Jules Holland. We all sort of decided what we wanted, and that was going to be the goal. So we're still aiming towards that, just because that's something that we can all see. You know, like we wrote, it's written down, so we all know that whatever happens, like we're aiming towards that. Which I think is kind of important, because you know, like some bands maybe like you get in them and no one really knows what's going on, but like we've got this written down goal, and so we're aiming towards Jules Holland. But I'm interested in where we're going to stop off en route.